Today, our topic is what Aristotle can teach us about happiness. Aristotle, one of the greatest philosophers in history, believed that happiness is the ultimate goal of human life. But his idea of happiness is not what we often think of today. For many people, happiness is about feeling good, having fun, or getting what we want. Aristotle's view is deeper and more meaningful. He believed that true happiness comes from living a life of virtue, purpose, and fulfillment. Let's explore what this means and how we can apply his wisdom to our own lives. First, Aristotle teaches us that happiness is not something that just happens to us. It is not a feeling that comes and goes. Instead, happiness is a way of living. It is about developing good habits, making wise choices, and becoming the best version of ourselves. Aristotle called this concept eudaimonia, which is often translated as flourishing or living well. To achieve eudaimonia, we must focus on building a life that is meaningful and aligned with our true nature. One of the key ideas in Aristotle's philosophy is that we are rational beings. Unlike animals, we have the ability to think, reason, and make choices. This means that our happiness depends on how we use our minds and how we live according to reason. Aristotle believed that every action we take should aim at some good. But not all goods are equal. Some things, like money or pleasure, are only good as means to an end. They help us achieve other things, but they are not the ultimate goal. The ultimate goal, according to Aristotle, is happiness, and happiness comes from living a virtuous life. But what does it mean to live a virtuous life? Virtue, for Aristotle, is about finding balance. He called this the golden mean. The golden mean is the middle point between two extremes. For example, courage is a virtue that lies between the extremes of recklessness and cowardice. Generosity is another virtue that lies between wastefulness and stinginess. To live virtuously, we must find the right balance in our actions, emotions, and decisions. This requires self-awareness, self-discipline, and practice. Aristotle also believed that happiness is not something we can achieve alone. We are social creatures, and our relationships with others play a crucial role in our well-being. Friendship, in particular, is essential for a happy life. Aristotle identified 3 types of friendship: friendships of pleasure, friendships of utility, and friendships of virtue. Friendships of pleasure are based on enjoyment, like having fun together. Friendships of utility are based on mutual benefit, like working together. But the highest form of friendship is the friendship of virtue. This is when 2 people care for each other's well-being and help each other grow as individuals. These kinds of friendships are rare and precious, and they are a key part of a flourishing life. Another important aspect of Aristotle's philosophy is the idea of purpose. He believed that everything in nature has a purpose, and this includes human beings. Our purpose, or telos, is to live according to our nature as rational and social beings. When we live in alignment with our purpose, we experience a sense of fulfillment and satisfaction. This is why Aristotle believed that a life of contemplation and intellectual activity is the highest form of happiness. When we use our minds to understand the world and ourselves, we are fulfilling our true potential. But Aristotle also recognized that life is not always easy. We face challenges, setbacks, and suffering. How can we find happiness in the midst of difficulties? Aristotle's answer is that we must develop resilience and inner strength. This is where his teachings connect with the philosophy of Stoicism. The Stoics believe that we cannot control everything that happens to us, but we can control how we respond. Similarly, Aristotle believed that we should focus on what is within our power and accept what is not. By cultivating virtues like patience, courage, and wisdom, we can navigate life's challenges with grace and dignity. So, how can we apply Aristotle's teachings to our own lives? First, we need to reflect on our values and priorities. What kind of person do we want to be? What kind of life do we want to live? These questions are not always easy to answer, but they are essential for finding direction and purpose. Once we have a clear sense of our goals, we can start taking small, consistent steps toward them. This might mean developing new habits, learning new skills, or building stronger relationships. Second, we should strive to live virtuously. This means being honest, kind, courageous, and fair in our actions. It also means finding balance in our emotions and desires. For example, if we tend to be too anxious, we can practice being more calm and composed. If we tend to be too passive, we can practice being more assertive. The key is to be mindful of our behavior and make adjustments when needed. Third, we should invest in our relationships. Good friends and supportive family members are a source of joy and strength. But building strong relationships takes time and effort. We need to be willing to listen, to forgive, and to give without expecting anything in return. We should also seek out people who inspire us and challenge us to grow. These kinds of relationships are a vital part of a happy and fulfilling life. Fourth, we should embrace a life of learning and growth. Aristotle believed that the pursuit of knowledge is one of the highest forms of happiness. This doesn't mean we all need to be scholars or philosophers. It simply means that we should cultivate curiosity and a love of learning. Whether it's reading books, exploring new hobbies, or engaging in meaningful conversations, intellectual activity enriches our lives and helps us understand the world more deeply. Finally, we should remember that happiness is a journey, not a destination. There will be ups and downs, successes and failures. But if we stay true to our values and keep striving to live virtuously, we will find a sense of inner peace and contentment. Aristotle's wisdom reminds us that true happiness is not about external achievements or material possessions. It is about living a life of purpose, virtue, and connection. In conclusion, Aristotle's teachings offer us a timeless guide to happiness. By focusing on virtue, relationships, purpose, and growth, we can build a life that is not only happy, but also meaningful and fulfilling. His philosophy challenges us to look beyond the superficial and to strive for a deeper, more lasting form of well-being. As we navigate the complexities of modern life, Aristotle's wisdom can serve as a compass, helping us to stay grounded and focused on what truly matters. So let us take his lessons to heart and embark on the journey toward a flourishing life.